Greetings, family, Vie Darling, the Cosmic Queen, and your intergalactic interpreter. And I have a channeled message that I want to share. I'm doing a live instead of recording it because I have other messages that I recently recorded, and I really have a lot of editing to do on those messages, and I just don't feel like taking my time and energy to do all of that. So we're just gonna channel on live. So the message that I'm getting is that, one, I want to say, you are not being attacked necessarily. You are purging things like previous attacks. And as that energy is being removed from you, it is obviously acting up, doing absolutely anything that it can to stay in your energy. So I just want to say that much. Go ahead and seal this, and you can go along and allow this energy to come into your space as well. So I do feel 2, 3, 4 on the timer. I do feel like there's a lot of really dense energy around you, and it's important that you're clearing your space and your energy right now. Use frequencies to break up this density in the ethers, in your aura. Continue just cleansing as much as possible, but definitely salt water in your bath, in your shower, will be of tremendous assistance to you. You need to keep your chi, your prana, your energy, your life force moving, flowing through you right now, because that's going to push all that stagnant energy that was stuck, that is leaving out, and it doesn't want to go. Obviously, 3, 2, 3 on the timer. It doesn't want to go, so it's thrashing about, attacking you on its way out, agitating you, what have you. And I would just recommend that you continue doing everything that helps. And just so you know, as these energies are being purged, they will also be looking for vessels to attach to and to move into. You need to be calling in the highest vibrational energy consciousness, divine love, unconditional love, Christ consciousness, and filling yourself overflowing with that energy, and sealing yourself in that energy, because that's going to keep that stuff away from you. But if you have lower vibrational people around you and this energy is coming out, it can definitely latch onto them and start attacking you through them. So make no mistake, that's definitely 444 on the timer. That's definitely something that happens. And this brings me to the point of this channeled message about these karmic relationships. I'm shuffling my Crystal Visions deck, and this deck is my fairy deck. And yeah, these karmics that like you've had long-term relationships with, what have you. First of all, there are people coming into your life that have a familiar energy. They have a familiar energy, and that's because they are karmics. They are a representation of an energy dynamic that you've already had in your life, and you've already worked through that energy. You don't have that dynamic with them anymore. You have a new one that has you in your sovereignty, that has already basically shown that you have transcended that level of your karma, your destiny, your journey. And what you need to do is stop trying to take these karmics with you into the next phase of your life. You're never going to be able to. So really what I want you to understand is, and what I want you to do is, you can pray for them, but you ultimately just need to let them go. These people are not for you. Okay, like this is what it means when somebody's trying to hide in your energy and destiny swap with you. Like they're trying to put their karma on you, and you are working through the karma and you're taking them to the next level with you, or you're trying to. Some of you need to understand, Four of Swords in reverse, the Sun, that you are the Sun and you've already been through this. You don't need to go through this again. I'm going to give an example because it's, I think, the easiest way for me to communicate this. But what I'm saying is, like, these people, like I said, you are the Sun, and these people are karmics. And when you operate from the same culture as them, the same paradigm, the same framework as them, you stay in that culture, that network, and you are meant to be moving on. All that was a karmic relationship. They're not meant to be in your life forever. If you are the Sun, they don't believe that they have any sunlight in their life without you, because they're not willing to do the work that you've done. Because of this, you are, as I said, you shine bright in their life. You are that light in their life, and you validate, essentially, even if you don't actually feel this way, you are essentially validating for them their existence. You are such a prize in their life that it's like, oh, I must be doing pretty all right that this person still wants to be in my life, still wants to have any kind of relationship with me. And the fact of the matter is, they're not doing pretty all right. They're doing fucking terrible. And sometimes it's karma for them to just lose out on a great relationship with a great person who's actually willing to do the work, because, they're not willing to. Ace of Swords in reverse, they're not willing to. They're not willing to change their ways. They're not willing. 818 on the timer, and 817 was on the timer before. I keep seeing like things like that where it's like on one side, it's the full number, and on the other side, it's numbers that make up the full number. These people are mirrors of you, but like you have to understand, and we talked about this when we were talking about molecules and how protons and electrons and neutrons work. Overall, the molecule has like a base of 0, okay? But it has like molecules, they have different numbers of protons and they have different numbers of electrons, but it all equals out. And yeah, it all equals out to 0. So something can have -9 and then it has 9. Okay, or it has 9 electrons and 9 protons, that equals 0. Okay, how do I put this? If on one side there's one entity or one energy. And on the other side, there are two energies or two entities. And one is 9. And in this relationship, you are the one, you are 9, because you are sovereign, you're in your full embodiment. You are just going through the motions until you can level up to the next level. On the other side, you have your mirror counterpart, if you will, not your divine counterpart, but a karmic counterpart. They are meant to show you the consequences of your actions, because karma is the Sanskrit word for actions. This person has, they are fragmented. So they have maybe 4 facing you. The front that they're showing you is 4, and then what's internal to them, the fragmented part, will be 5, and that will equal 9. But you may have been at one point 4 and 5, which equals 9, and they were also 4 and 5, which equals 9. But over time, you went from being 4 and 5 to 3 and 6 to 2 and 7 to 1 and 8, and now you are 0 and 9. And it's time for you to go up to being 10, completion. And they're not willing to, they're still at 4-5. Maybe they went from 4-5 to 3-6. Or maybe rather they went from 4-5 to 5-4. They went through an ego death, they went through the looking glass, and now they have a new form of consciousness. But the question is, are they putting that into action? Are they putting that into motion like you did? And they might, everybody's on their own journey. Everyone's on their own path. It's not up to you to be like, oh my God, like, what's wrong with you? Why won't you move forward? All that you need to do is accept that they're at, they were at 4-5. Okay, congratulations to them that they went to 5-4. But when you got to be at 6-3 and they were still at 5-4, that's when y'all started falling out of alignment. And that's when there started to be this tension. And this tension was that they didn't like that you were moving on, and that you were showing them that they were not moving on, that they were not consciously elevating, that they were not consciously evolving. They didn't like that. And they may not be willing to let you know that, but trust and believe they want to keep you in their life as validation that they're doing how they're living their life, how they're remaining stagnant is okay, that they will not see real consequences. For some of you, you're just people's karma, and that's what it is. Like, you leaving someone's life is rock bottom for them, because when you take your sacred light away, they have to face themselves finally and realize, like, oh shit, like, I'm seriously losing things. 1, 2, 4, 3 on the timer. But like, as soon as you leave their life, you were the thing that was like continuing the blessings in their life. And when you leave, the blessings that were still coming to them, that were allowing them to think that, because your energy was keeping the shadow from really advancing upon them. When you leave their life, they're the blessings that were still able to flow through you are going to stop. That flow of living water stops, or at least it gets very, very tiny, because of all the blockages. It gets really hard to reach them. And the shadow advances upon them rapidly. This is when deception, I'm hearing deception, deceiver. They can't continue deceiving themselves. This is what I'm hearing, Lucifer. Okay, so you as the light, when you're not in integrity and you are remaining in relation to people who are lower vibrational, they're not doing what they need to do to advance, they're not doing what they need to do in order to evolve. When you remain in relation to these people, you cast an illusion, you allow an illusion, you essentially, you become a deceiver in their life, because they are deceived into thinking that everything's all hunky-dory, everything's okay. But this is because you yourself are not in your integrity. And you have to get into integrity, and you have to be in integrity. And you know what your integrity has been telling you, that this is not your friend. This is not someone who loves and cares about you, like, unconditionally. And this is what I'm talking about. This is the energy of, like, they only fuck with you when you're down and out, when you're down bad. I've talked about relationships that I've had like this before, where everything was fine when I was in a state of crisis. You know what I mean? Whether it was material, 1505 on the timer, whether it was material crisis or whether it was emotional, like my mental health and stuff like this. But if I was doing well, if I was happy, if things were going well for me, like if my money was correct and everything, these people were not happy for me. They had negative, snide remarks. You feel me? Like, it was just a problem to them. I was a problem to them because they were insecure people. Okay? And as long as I kept putting up with that energy, this was validation that it was okay for them to act that way. It was okay for them to treat me that way. It was okay for them to behave like that. And it's not. Obviously, it's not. But I was the one who was giving them this sense that it was. And that was a trauma response. Maybe it was a karmic dynamic from the past that I needed to break free from. Whatever it was, it's over. It's over. And they see that it's over. They see that you're not willing to. They could see you. Like I said, they could see you going from 4-5 to 3-6 to 2-7 to 1-8. And they know that you're at 0-9. And they know that you're about to level up, and they're so far behind that they cannot continue forward with you. 1644 on the timer. They cannot continue forward with you. And they're lashing out like crazy. That energy that's purging out of you, it's inside of them going crazy. That's what trauma bonds are. If you think about Lilith after Adam attempts to SA her and she flees to the sea. That's what they say. She flees to the sea and she starts making demons. The spiritual parallel would be the sea is the subconscious. This divine feminine is having this divine actually karmic masculine, toxic masculine, attempt to rob her of her agency and her autonomy and the only thing that we own, the only thing that we possess truly in this life, our bodies. She flees to the sea and starts making demons. That is shadows. Okay, so we're going to talk about these subconscious shadows. This is some Jungian stuff. Our subconscious shadows as demons. Okay, this is trauma bonding. Because you had the same demons as them, that y'all could trauma bond all day. And you thought that they were understanding of your experience and that y'all were on the same page, but y'all didn't share the same vision. Because they're complacent. They're okay with being sick. They're okay with being wrought with demons. They're okay with being overflowing with shadow. And even if they're not okay with it, because obviously nobody's really okay with that, but they're too afraid of what life could be like. They're afraid of success. They're afraid of freedom, because with great power comes great responsibility. And when you are a free, sovereign being, you have a lot of power. They don't want that. They're afraid of no longer being the victim. They're afraid of what their identity will be when they finally let go of this trauma that they are identifying themselves as. And they don't want to know who that is because they're still afraid of being in their power. They're afraid of what they might lose. Because remember, as I've been saying, when you level up, the karmic community, the karmic relationships around you, they're not going to move forward with you. They're not going to. And they're going to punish you for leveling up in myriad different ways. They might start excluding you from things. They might start, I had this one situation where this girl was really jealous of me at my job. We had this friend group at this job that I had, and this girl was really jealous of me. And we had started off as friends, but when she came to work at our location, she just started being problematic. She identified me by my wounded healer energy on me. I was wounded. I definitely was outside of my sovereignty, and she knew that I was the one that she could pick on, and she thought she would get away with it. Little did she know that that wasn't true. So she got control of the schedule, and they planned to go to a party that I loved. And you know what she did? She purposefully scheduled me on the day that the party was happening so that I wouldn't be able to go. Like maneuvering, strategizing to exclude me. And why is the rest of the group karmic? Because they saw that she was antagonizing me and they didn't do anything about it. They didn't stand up for me. They didn't support me. Nobody took her aside and had a talk with her. You know what I mean? For me, I would have stopped engaging with her a long time ago. But like I said, we worked together. So some of you, you're in a situation where it seems like you can't get away from these people. They might be family, and you might feel like, oh, well, they're my family. I'm 2112 on the timer. I'm just going to have to. And I also obviously saw 111. So new beginnings. It may have seemed like I couldn't get away from these people. But you know what eventually ended up happening? I tried using healthier coping mechanisms where I stopped engaging with her. I stopped letting her think that we were friends. I only talked to her when I had to. And then I did do something toxic where I started using the silent treatment. But, eventually it got to the point where I was so outside of my integrity, and I was so sick of being treated like this. And I was feeling so disenfranchised by the fact that these people who I gave my everything to in terms of friendship, I really did my best to show up as a good friend in these relationships. And I knew that I was not getting that back. 222 on the clock. I knew that I was not getting that back. I quit. I found another job and I quit. And nobody thought that I was going to follow through with it. They all thought that I was bluffing. You know what I mean? That I would decide, you know what? Nah, I'm not going to leave. I sure did leave. I went on a trip for other work that I was doing, and I never came back after that. And I just went on and worked my other job. So I'm hearing a loud noise in the background. I hope that that's not distracting for anybody. But I will also say that, I do feel like there are a lot of distractions happening right now. There's a lot of outside noise. And I want to remind folks that these external distractions, disturbances, external stimuli that are obviously not things that we want to be experiencing. 22:55 on the clock or on the timer. That's just weather. It's going to pass by. It comes and it goes. It's not going to stay. And sometimes the fact of the matter is we have to realize the weather in our environment is not conducive for who we are. The climate of our environment is not conducive for who we are, for who we're meant to be, in fact. So this is an opportunity for you to look at your natal chart and also look at your progress chart and look at your nodes, your north node and your south node, the nodes of destiny. These are the lunar nodes. And also look at your moon sign for where that's going to lead you. But right now, if you're watching this when I'm recording it, we have the north node in Aries and the south node in Libra, tropically. It's time to take action. It's time to be about it. It's time to stand on business and stand in your integrity. Stand on business. I also want to point out that integrity has to do with Capricorn. And in Western astrology and pop astrology, they equate Capricorn with business as well. You need to stand in your integrity. You need to stand on business. If you say, I am that girl, I am that guy. I'm not about to sit here and let people treat me a certain way. So why are you sitting here and letting people treat you a certain way? They're wrong, for sure. But you're not right. You got to leave. And sometimes that looks like you don't know what the next step is. For me, like I said about that job that I had, I found another job before I quit that job, and I started working at the other job to see how I liked it before I quit the karmic job. Okay? But back then, I was a runner. I was stuck in that runner-chaser dynamic. I was a runner for sure. And the next job also turned out to be karmic because every situation that I was in was showing me the parts of me that I needed to heal, that I needed to work through, where I needed to transcend my ego, transcend my survival instinct, and level up. Okay? Like I said, the toxic karmic community isn't going to do that until I finally sat down and I faced myself. And I did this over a course of time. Like I said, if on one side we have 4-5 and on the other side we have 5-4, and I'm trying to get to 9 so I can level up to 10, it goes 4-5, 3-6, 2-7, 1-8, 0-9, then we get to 10. Then we go through the looking glass. Then we go through the mirror, 5-5-5 on the screen. Then we go through the mirror and we level up to the upper echelon. But that doesn't happen overnight. Yes, we have quantum leaping. We sure do. But timeline jumping, like, you cannot avoid karma. You can't run from karma. You're gonna have to do the work. Otherwise, you're just a runner. And the situation will always catch up with you because you can't escape the universe. You're in it, babes. You are it. You are of it. You cannot escape yourself. Wherever you go, there you are. So it's not about just being like, oh, I'm not gonna mess with these karmics anymore. It's about a whole entire lifestyle change. Like I said, like that old timeline, that old paradigm that you used to be part of, that old reality will start to reject you when you level up. And they know that you've leveled up. They smell it on you. They sense it on you. They know that you're of a higher consciousness than them now. And what do? Like I said, they'll strategize. They'll stop inviting you to things. They'll purposefully leave you out. They'll start making snide remarks. They won't let you be your authentic self. They don't want to hear it. You'll be trying to talk about what's real for you, your authentic experience, and they're going to shut it down. They're not interested in hearing that. Okay? I'll put it to you like this, because you no longer fit the archetype of what they want you to be. They need you to fill a role in their life, and you're not filling that anymore. I'll put it to you like this. People who are envious of you, they don't want to hear that you have experienced anything worse than them or even on the same level as them, because they always want to have you in that position of, oh, you're better than me. They always want to have you on that pedestal. They always want to objectify you as an icon so that they can both, and deify you so that they can both love you and hate you, because really they're obsessed with you, because they're obsessed with themselves. And it's easier to project their obsession onto you than it is for them to actually face themselves, because they're not willing to do the work to level up their consciousness. They're not willing to do the work to level up and become the sun in their life. You know, they always need to have someone that they're orbiting around. And they'll tell you that you think that you're better than others. They'll tell you that you think that you're obsessed with yourself. They'll tell you the universe doesn't revolve around you. Yes, the fuck it does. Who else is it going to revolve around? Nobody else's universe revolves around me. So by God, my universe better fucking revolve around me. It's all cap, because what? They're codependent, and they want you to be obsessed with them. They want your life to revolve around them, and your life, their life can continue being about everything else that everyone else is doing to them. My lip gloss is doing something weird. I hate when it does this. Because they don't ever want to be accountable. And you have to be accountable in order to level up. But like I said, you're done with this karmic mindset. I want to continue talking about other things, other signs that these karmic relationships, they've always been ops. They've been ops all along, but that it's cutoff season for these hoes. I want to talk about what that looks like, okay? And I'm going to continue shuffling. That looks like they'll start playing games, 30-20 on the timer. They'll start playing games, right? And 2:20 on the clock. So this definitely has to do with divine counterparts and divine relationships, divine alignment. And y'all know the Hanged Man, they want you to stay stuck, boo. They will put distractions in your life to keep you from being able to give your awareness and your focus and your energy to yourself so that you can level up. And you need to use your discernment. What is actually worth my time? And the only things that are actually worth your time are the things that you can control and the things that you can influence. And mainly, you need to focus on the things that you can control. And the things that you can control are your actions. And remember that you teach people how to interact with you. You teach the universe what you are and are not going to put up with. You teach people in your life like what is okay and what is not okay. And people will learn by watching how you interact with them and also how you interact with others. When people started to see that my cutoff game was strong and I was not going to put up with bullshit anymore, when people started to see that, yeah, here's one example. This person asked me for a reading, and before I'd given them like 1 or 2 free readings, right? And then I hadn't charged them previous to that because at that time I was just getting started in my reading practice. And I offer, in my professional practice, I offer sliding scale rates. I offer discounts. You know what I mean? For Black and Indigenous people, people of color, people of marginalized identities. And my readings were really financially accessible at that time. Now they're much more expensive because I am much more skilled than ever before. Like, you know what I mean? I just like with any other job, you raise your rates so that you can progress and start making more money so that you can sustain the lifestyle that you deserve to for having developed this skill set. So at that point, I had risen my rates. And I think that this was maybe the first time that I was like, yeah, like I can give you a reading. It's going to be this much. And you can use this discount, but it's going to be this much. And this person looked me dead in my face and in a very condescending, patronizing tone and manner, it was oozing with shadow. It was oozing with contempt because she's a contemptuous person, because she hates herself. She was like, you've changed. The fuck? Because I'm asking you to honor my worth, because I'm no longer allowing you to take from me without pouring back into me. 3344 on the timer, 3345 on the timer, because I'm no longer allowing you to take from me without pouring into me. You don't have the skill that I have. You don't have the anointing that I have. You don't have the rank that I have. To access this as an oracle, you're going to have to pay, especially because I've given you multiple free readings. You've changed. And this is how you know that this person, this karmic, was taking advantage of me, was exploiting me. And let me tell you something, they got canceled later on down the line. But even after that disrespect, timeline jumping, quantum leap, when I hear a motorcycle, 3434 on the timer, when I hear a motorcycle, that's what that means to me. It still took me time to be like, nah, I'm not fucking with you anymore. And I let her know what it was too. 345 on the timer. Everybody around will feel that energy shift, because I got so sick of the shadiness, the duplicitousness, the exploitation of not just me, but others. And also, I began to love and respect myself more, enough for me to be like, I'm not like, it's a wrap. It's a dub. I'm done with you. Urgent. You urgently need to do this. You urgently need to remove the tethers, the cords, the binds, the tethers that you have to this lower reality. And that is these relationships. Those are, the tethers are those relationships that are karmic. You've done the big work. And when you do that, like, think about this. Sagittarius has to do with higher consciousness. It has to do with philosophy. The archer, you have to knock the arrow and pull it back. And it creates tremendous tension. And trust me, archery, like doing archery when you first start, it hurts. Like, it makes you very sore. Your fingers will hurt. Your arm will hurt because you haven't built up this strength to do this. But you're the arrow, okay? Mars is represented as an arrow attached to a circle. That's your life force energy. You're the arrow. And this is a vehicle, if you will. They're pulling you back, the universe, your experience. It seems like you're backtracking. It seems like everything is falling down. Everything is terrible. Like, you're just, how do I want to describe this? I mean, you're in a tower moment, essentially, because you're going through a death rebirth. So maybe your money starts getting messed up. Maybe, you start being in conflict in your relationships. You might get fired from your job. Like, your hair might start falling out. Like, you might have health issues. You just, like, you get broken up with and you can't find anybody that you're interested in because you are in a hermit season. You're in a hanged man season. You think that you're stuck, but it's really a hermit season. You are going within. You are wading through the shadows. Remember, wading through that water where all of those demons were birthed, through the trauma, to find the divine spark that lives inside of you and to bring it back to surface and to reintegrate it into yourself and cast out all of those shadows. They can't affect you anymore unless you let them. So your arm is tired from holding this arrow back here while you get your focus right. You're getting your focus right. You're trying to line up with the target. And finally, when it happens, you let that arrow fly. But in that time, you were drawing back. And you were feeling that tension. And you were getting right. And you were getting sore, perhaps. And then you quantum leapt. You timeline jumped into the reality that's actually aligned for you. But you had to get your focus right. Okay? You had to know where you were aiming. Yes. Thank you. You had to know where you were aiming. Because before, you were aiming off into the air when the mark was here. Before, you had to move and get lined up with your destiny. As much as they wanted to steal that from you with the distractions, with the noise, with the karmic relationships, you stayed true and you said, no, I'm not going to allow myself to be taken off of the path. For some of you, you might still be in this space with the illusions. Exactly. No. We have disabused ourselves of the illusions. And for some of you, you're still getting your aim right. Meanwhile, others, this is something that I talked about in the vernal equinox videos that I did in 2023. For some of us, it was always a matter of time. And of course, we have the distractions coming through when we're talking about the illusions, right? But that's all that is. It was a matter of timing, because we were pointing to the right place, but the circumstances had to be appropriate for us to be able to let go. Perhaps somebody was in front of the target, the weather was wrong, and if we let go of the arrow at the wrong time, the wind would have knocked it off target. And some people are experts and they know how to deal with, they can sense all that stuff, and you become an expert over time through all of these death rebirth processes, which you may have been looking at that and been like, oh, I keep going through these times of loss and like getting my ass kicked by the universe. You have been 4114 on the timer. This is the holy truth. This is a divine message. You have been being prepared. You have been being trained to be an expert marksman. You will never miss your mark because you have this training deeply coded in you. Yeah, your muscles hurt, but you are developing muscle memory. And now you are an expert marksman. So what I was saying, this vernal equinox video that I made, some people had to get to their pillar of light and so that they could be, leveled up into this upper echelon. Oh, no, for real. But I realize every time I come back, I am more discerning. Exactly. Your discernment, your focus, the precision is there. You've been being honed. Whereas you've been being honed. You've been sharpening your sword, whereas these people, they have not. You know what I mean? And so some of us, we've just been waiting at the gate for the right time because we've made it through the journey. We've made it up the mountain. We're just waiting at the gate for the gates to open. Whereas other people, they're still in the process of making it up the mountain. They're still in the process of making it out of the wilderness. And some of them, I feel like, especially these people that I'm talking about here, they're still in captivity. Even though the gate out of captivity is open. The gate out of captivity is open. They aren't actually bound. This is the devil card in tarot in the major arcana. They're not actually bound. They have to choose to take their shackles off, get up and leave. Okay, this is a really big message for somebody. Your anointing is very big. 4323. Your anointing is very, very big. Because when you are welcome, thank you. When you pick up and move out of captivity, out of bondage, spiritual bondage, mental bondage, this is why we talk about decolonization here in the Aetherium. Mental bondage. You are someone who I'm talking to, you're going to take a bunch of people with you. And that's why you get attacked more than others. That's why, even though you're already at the gate, they are throwing their worst demons at you, their worst witchcraft, their worst spellcraft, the most abusive stuff that you can imagine. That's why they're throwing it at you, because they know that you're at the gate and they want to get you back into captivity. And this is a form of consciousness. You get to choose. I'm seeing Two of Pentacles here, because this is old earth, new earth. Are you going to stay in that dead zone, that phantom matrix, that illusion, when you know better? It's hard to remain faithful when you have these karmics attacking you and sabotaging you. 4444 on the timer, because they don't want you to get free. You thought, oh, it's just you got free from the karmic family. Oh, I'm free, home free. 44555 on the timer. I'm home free. The next more subtle realm, the karmic friends, the karmic professional relationships. And you got to liberate yourself from those as well. And really what it is liberating yourself from the demons, the shadows, the energies, the entities that were upon you, that were in your energy. And some of you have actually had people putting more stuff on you, but that's not what's happening right now. For the majority of you, what's happening right now is that you are purging all that stuff. And like I said in the beginning, it's latching on. It's latching on to other people and trying to come back into your field, but it can't, because you're vibrating far too high for it to be able to. You see people acting up out in the streets, acting like they're not self-possessed. I wonder what's possessing them. You don't have self-control. I wonder what. Yes, you are a conqueror. That's right. I'm seeing a spear. It's like Xena warrior princess. But it's also this Empress energy. I'm hearing that song Like a Virgin by Madonna. I made it through the wilderness. Somehow I made it through. Didn't know how lost I was till I found you. You are meant to shine. I'm picking up the star. Three of Wands, and look at this orb glowing here. And it's glowing all over the lands. It's falling all over these mountains. This person has mastered the ferocity within themselves. They are a master of strategic warfare. And you are calling out to your soul family, attracting them back to you by shining your light, which you worked so hard to develop. And so this is coming quickly, very rapidly. It's coming to you. And they see that you are entering into your divine domain. Some might call this the kingdom of heaven. You're entering into your divine domain because you are self-sovereign in your divinity now. And they don't want you to get there because they know that they can't enter through the gates. And that same energy that you're purging as it's acting up on you, trying to get you to close up, trying to get you to lower your consciousness and act out, it's acting up inside of them. It's going crazy inside of them because it knows that it's time. Its moments are numbered. At the bottom of the deck, we get the Emperor, the Moon in reverse. All of these secrets are being revealed. The dishonesty. Ops, that's what I'm hearing. These ops are being revealed. This is a time of revelations, babes. Like so much. It's important to rest right now. It's important to rest. It's important to not overdo it because Ajna, the third eye chakra, your Ajna chakra is being purged of the illusions. And if you have clairvoyance, you might be seeing entities. And you might be thinking that these entities are being sent at you. No, you're purging them out. And as you purge them, the ops are being revealed to you. But it might be causing you to experience headaches, exhaustion. The downloads that you're receiving have been waiting for you. They've been clarifying over this time because you're at a frequency where you can see it. These illusions are no longer able to keep you in a state of disempowerment. You're no longer fighting within yourself, so you're no longer fighting with others. They're at war with themselves. That has nothing to do with me. You want to be at war with yourself? That has nothing to do with me. Fight that battle just like I fought my battle. Because when you look around and you think about it, who was actually there for you? Were they actually there for you? And I also want you to remember that sometimes they'll be there, but I was gonna definitely, I've been putting hands on my head to keep pain away. Yeah, and also like banging on your head can help, like gently, obviously, but it loosens up the energy. Yoga will help to clear this energy because it's energy that's trapped in your body. Okay, it's going, but you need to help. Don't hold on to this old reality. Don't hold on to this old reality because you're no longer, as I said, you're no longer at war with yourself. These betrayal paradigms, it's because of self-betraying. Because you sense that no longer is this a resonant relationship. No longer is this relationship aligned. And you can see that you're in stagnant waters with this relationship, with these people, places, and things. But this is what is coming to you. Two of Cups, divine union. And in the Aetherium, divine counterpart is with your entire life, your entire world. I love to see it. We love when a message matches up. Your whole entire life. I'm going to try and do some yoga as well. Even if it's just some stretching, you know what I mean? Throat chakra clarification as well. You may feel like an overactive throat chakra because of how many messages are coming to you. But what I would recommend is grounding, getting grounded, sitting outside in the sun. That's going to also help dissolve these shadow energies that are purging through you. The divine counterpart is your whole entire life. When you look at your chart, the houses are different sectors of your life. And your life might feel better if your first house is in order. It might feel better if your fourth house is in order. It might feel better if you have 3 houses in order, but you will be in divine union fully in your most resonant timeline, in your most divine timeline, rather. But yes, resonant to the divinity that lives within you, to your destiny, when your whole life is in divine union. It's not just about your singular romantic partner or, even if you're poly, like if you have your primary person and they're not into that, how is that going to be that's not your divine counterpart. Just admit that to yourself. They don't want to be in the kind of relationship you want to be in. They're not for you, at least not right now. You might have the best job. I'm hearing Upgrade You, the song, when you're in the big meetings for the mills. These people, everything has to be resonant, but these people are draining you and they're stopping you. And also, this is really what I picked up when I had this channeled message. I've been saying I receive thriving in all aspects. Yes, keep repeating it. Keep repeating it. And also keep releasing. I am relieved of any tension. I am relieved of any not resonant energies. I am relieved of what is hindering me. I am relieved of what is harming me. I am relieved of what is keeping me back. I'm relieved of what is obscuring my vision. I am relieved of whatever is keeping me in illusion. I am relieved of all illusions. I am relieved of all shadow. I'm relieved of all iniquity. Keep on speaking on this. Keep on relieving yourself. Keep on renewing yourself. I am renewed in my divinity. I am renewed in my prosperity. I am renewed in unconditional love. I am overflowing with joy. I am renewed in joy. I release anything that is not resonant to joy. But when I do affirmations, the way that I speak to the universe, I try not to use knots, and because the way that I was taught is that the universe doesn't process that. So you want to focus on what you are bringing in. And what you're bringing in is divine union. Okay? You can be like, yeah, what I picked up when I first was doing this message is that they're secretly hating on you and they don't want to admit it. 5, 4, 3 on the clock. They don't want to admit it. They don't want to admit that they have this animosity towards you. They don't want to admit to themselves. So they're definitely not going to admit it to you. But this is putting evil eye on your life. You think it's like these ops that you're openly like that's your open adversary. No. These are not them. What is this? The house of hidden enemies. What is the house of hidden enemies? It's going to come to me. I think it might be the 6th house. Look at your 6th house, maybe, in your, not just your natal, but also your progressed chart. And the 12th house is hidden enemies, I believe. So open enemies is 6th house, I believe. And 12th house is hidden enemies. But I'm just going to double check. While I'm double checking 144 on the timer, chosen ones, sacred, blessed up family. These people, they are quote unquote your friends. You think that these people are on your team, but no, you know that they're not. Maybe they were before, but y'all have come out of alignment. They're no longer in resonance. This is not a divine counterpart. This is no longer, I mean, they may be from your soul tribe, but they're not of the right frequency. These people are choosing to stay in old earth. These people are choosing to stay in old earth while you are choosing new earth, and they don't like that. And they're the opposition. They are channeling Shaitan. Well, this is taking me forever to find this. Bear with me, family. I am... Okay, hidden enemies. So the 6th house is just enemies in general. But yes, 12th house is the hidden enemies. So you're going to want to look at your 6th house and your 12th house, especially if you've been going through hardship. 1, you might be going through your Saturn return. But 2, I need you to look at what is going on in your 6th house, in your natal chart, and your 6th house, your progressed chart, because this is going to tell you what to do and where to, what you need to work on in order to liberate yourself and free yourself. This is going to help you to step up into a higher level of consciousness so that you can see things from a bird's eye perspective. And this is going to help you to let go of these low vibrational relationships that have been keeping you sick. It's up to you. They're not, with this world in reverse, they're not moving on to a new earth. They don't want to be this person. That's the reality. No matter how much they say that they're working towards better, they're not. They have given up on themselves. They've been given up on themselves. You have this waiting for you. Quantum leaping, timeline jumping. You have this waiting for you. But this tension of blasting off into the future, you got to let go. When I'm recording this, Jupiter has just moved into Gemini. It's at 0 degrees of Gemini. If we look at the Sabian symbol for 0 degrees of Gemini, there isn't one. We have the Sabian symbol of 30 degrees Taurus. Sabian symbol. I'm going to read that to y'all really quickly. Don't let the distractions get in your head. A peacock parading on the terrace of an old castle. Peacocks have to do with divine feminine Christ. They have to do with Oshun, Sarasvati. They have to do with the living waters. They have to do with rivers, river goddesses. Even when I look at this, I see the word Venus. I'm seeing pearls. Divine feminine. You have to be in your divine feminine. And being in your divine feminine is not just about knowing what you want. It's also about knowing what you don't want and choosing to focus on what you want. And when something that you're not interested in comes to you, you just, nope, I'm not putting up with that. And the more that you sidestep it, the more that you refuse it. And honestly, for me, I just block people. Like, some people you can have a conversation with and let them know what it is, but the ones who know in their heart what it is, they already know that y'all are not banging with one another anymore. They already know that, okay? So what you really have to do, what I personally would do, they're just waiting for you to be the one to end it, because like I said, these are people, they don't want accountability. They're not sovereign people. They don't want accountability. They don't want power. They just want to drain you of yours because they're a parasite. They have vampiric entities inside of them. That's what they've been inculcated into. So really, we can feel bad for these people. I know I do. But it's easier to have grace when we're no longer enmeshed with them. When you start falling off, when you stop reaching out to hang out, when you stop, calling them, when you stop engaging with them, it's like, oh, don't ghost people because you'll get that karma back. Let them get their karma back. What they're doing, they need to pay for. You not engaging with them and no longer giving them any more energy after they've been feeding off of you, or after they've been throwing evil eye at you and sending saboteur energy at you because they want you to stay low vibrational alongside them. Some of you, they want you to stay poor. Some of you, they want you to stay not just spiritually poor, and so they'll encourage you to be spiritually bankrupt. They don't want to see you thriving. They know your power. They know that you are the star, and they want to place. Why would you place a lamp on a city on a hill and then try and cover it? Everybody will see it. This is from the Sermon on the Mount, essentially. When you place a lamp, when you light a lamp in a house and then you put a shade over it, what sense does this make? Essentially, is what Yeshua was saying. It doesn't make any sense. Your flame, your fire is lit. You are the Sacred Heart on fire, burning through the shadow, burning through the darkness. Self-preservation. Because it's not safe to have a conversation. It's not going to be conducive. It's not worth your time. And folks need to start thinking about their energy and their time as you think about your money. But I mean, some people, are spiritually broke, so they're also broke in the material realm. And they don't think, oh, I shouldn't invest my money into this thing. They don't think about your relationships as being investments. So some people will be like, I'll talk about myself. Before I got sober, I spent so much money on partying. And yeah, sure, I met some great connections that really helped me move forward in my career. But I was constantly spiritually bankrupt, and I was very literally broke all the time. And when I first quit drinking, my money went up exponentially. I started going on very amazing trips for work for free, though, because I stopped doing something that was making me personally spiritually bankrupt. And I stopped going on that scene. When I was going through things, none of those people were there for me. When I had to go through my dark night of the soul, not a single one of those people that I thought were my friends that I knew from parties, just because we were drinking and using substances together, didn't mean that we were friends. So I was impoverished in my relationships, and they were draining me of my spiritual wealth. And I was also impoverished in my material life. So I let go of that. I started working to building up, and my life started progressing, but I still wasn't so happy. And so I got fully sober. And yeah, once again, I was making so much more money than I had ever made before and doing much less work. And the work that I was doing was so aligned. It didn't feel like work. It wasn't work. It was it wasn't a profession. It was not even a vocation. I was just doing what I was born to do. You know, I was living my passion and I was making a lot of money doing that. Of course, yes, I was still on this journey of going through my dark night of the soul journey to be restored to sovereignty. I was still working through the wilderness, and now I've been climbing up the mountain. But we're sitting at heaven's gate, family. It's just a matter of waiting to get in. And these relationships are just things that we still need to like slough off this energy. I quantum leapt when I let go of the biggest things that were holding me back. I leapt forward. And then, yes, I still had to do some more work, but my life never went back to being as bad as it was before. Thank you so much. It is honestly, literally the best thing that I've ever done in my life. I recently, only because I'm sober, graduated summa cum laude from my dream school. And that is still getting sober is still the best thing that I am the most proud of in my entire life. I couldn't speak highly enough of it, but you know, to each their own. That was my story. I needed to do that. Thank you so much for honoring that. And that's what brought me into sovereignty. And, you know, in that time, the false friends fell away. Every time I leveled up, the false friends, the hidden enemies, the ops fell away. And it's funny because the 12th house is right after the 11th, which has to do with community. It also has to do a lot with social media, public image. So I would say definitely look at your 6th and 7th house and look at your 11th and 12th house, progress chart and natal chart. Okay, because we're healing. Now that we are in our sovereignty, your wealth, your abundance is coming to you because you've been willing to let go, because you're no longer accepting betrayal, because you're no longer self-betraying. They know that they are, and they're mad as fuck that you're not. You're in your sovereignty, and your life, your world, your material world is healing all around you. I'll finish reading this Sabian symbol and we'll wrap up. Excuse me, let me hydrate. A peacock parading on the terrace of an old castle, the personal display of inherited gifts. Now that you've worked through the inherited trauma, drama, and bullshit, as I like to call it, excuse me, confirmation burp, the karma, inherited karma, some of this, I mean, it's the 4 of Swords in reverse here. So a lot of this has to do with like your ancestry and how you were raised and the culture that you came from, transmuting the lower vibrational parts of it, especially using the good aspects of it and amplifying those things to help you walk through this fire. A great person able to display a multitude of gifts is always, at one level or another, the consummation of a long past of efforts and victories. Like I said, making it out of the wilderness, out of captivity, out of bondage. And when you get up and you start leaving out of bondage, you might hear some of the other prisoners being like, no, don't go. And a lot of the time they think it's because, thank you so much. A lot of the time they think it's because they think that they're keeping you safe, but they're not. They're like, don't go, because if you try and leave, they're going to catch you and they're going to beat you and this, that, and the other thing. Listen, Harriet Tubman made it out with a lot of people and she died a free woman. Frederick Douglass made it out. And they brought a lot of other people with them. In fact, their legacy is still liberating people from bondage of all walks of life, consciousness-wise. I mean, I'm using their story right now. You understand what I mean? So understand that, you know, they might think that they're helping you, and also their help comes with a price. You have to stay in bondage, you have to stay in captivity, or you can just get up and walk out, liberate yourself from the devil card of tarot, the devil, Shaitan, make it through the wilderness and up the mountain to the gates of heaven. Okay? As a great occultist once wrote, adepts are the flowering of their races and cultures. The peacock, and I want to say 144, we are the adepts. Okay, stop looking at yourself as one of the nanny of the maroons. Yes, stop looking at yourself as the fool card. You're not a fool anymore. You have worked so hard. You are the emperor, and you are ready. You did the work that others weren't willing to do, and they don't like to see that blessing on you, that anointing. They see it coming into being, and they are mad. The peacock is the bird consecrated to Venus. In occult tradition, the Promethean spirits, the luminaries, who gave to animal mankind the divine gift of self-conscious intelligence, had come from Venus, which may or may not refer to the physical planet we can observe in the sky, or the Venetian realm, a dimension in and of itself. This is the final symbol of the fourth scene. If you astral project, I might actually make a guided meditation about this. Someone I'm hearing in your guided meditation or in your meditation, if you can travel interdimensionally, you're being called to go to Venus. You're also being called to go to your heart chakra and do the liberation work, the shadow work, energy work on your heart chakra. For the sake of time, I don't want to do that right now on camera, but I might just record some of that later and post it. But these are the kinds of things, if you book an oracle session with me, if that came up, we would right away, right now, start doing the energy work together. Just FYI. So this is the final symbol of the fourth scene, whose keyword has been given as confirmation. This peacock symbol indeed confirms the social status of the owner of the ancestral estate. You are sovereign, and you are wealthy and abundant in spirit, and it is materializing because of the work that you have done. It indicates a consummation of individual efforts, and it suggests that such a consummation is hardly possible except when a line of ancestors, biological or spiritual. I know that one of my spirit guides is Harriet Tubman. She's one of my spirit guides, and yeah, I'm not going to go deeper into that right now. Biological or spiritual forms, ancestors forms its base. Okay, so right now, you are welcome. Right now, while Jupiter is at 0 degrees Gemini, this heart clarification is what is going to be going on. I'm going to go ahead, and this is a timeless reading, so whenever your eyes fall upon it, it doesn't matter if you're watching this when I record it or if you're watching it 12 years from now. This is the energy that's happening in your life, and you may want to consult your own chart. Either way, it's just the energy that's happening. Okay, so I'm gonna just go ahead and make sure of when Jupiter is going to be moving in to first 1 degree of Gemini. Okay, so actually it may have on the 31st, it's going to move to 1 degree of Gemini. So in 2 days, we're going to be progressing to that 1 degree of Gemini energy. And for that reason, I will go ahead and read that just so y'all know what is coming, what's up next. 1 degree of Gemini is a glass-bottomed boat reveals undersea wonders, the revelation of unconscious energies and submerged psychic structures. This is happening all throughout Gemini season anyway. And this process started when the sun went into Gemini. We are seeing the landscape of our consciousness so that we can do whatever transmutational work is left, whatever is left, blocking our inheritance, blocking our wealth, blocking Jupiter from blessing us is being pushed out now. Within the relative security of a boat, that is the vehicle of your life. That's how you're moving forward. And the irony of the boat imagery is not lost on me whatsoever. Sometimes you got to jump ship to save your own, like to save your life, to save your spirit. So that boat that you were on before, you know, you got to, like, you might have some friends around you who are trying to tell you, don't jump ship. You're going to die. You are not going to die. You actually might identify, timeline jumping, you might identify as a 𝗪𝗶𝗱𝗶. You might identify as a water elemental, a water spirit. You might have water as the dominant energy in your chart. You may resonate with mermaids or sirens. You actually get everything that you want. Desires, that has to do with Venus, what you value, what you're attracting, what you're calling in. Like I was saying, you have to you have to tune your frequency to no longer being attractive to low vibrational entities. And as you've been doing this, you've been calling in more of what you want. Okay. And you had to get rid of the things that were draining you. Timeline jumping. You had to get rid of the things that were draining you in order to receive it. They're telling you that you shouldn't jump ship, but you are blessed and highly favored. You can swim. You are going to be taken to the realm of I'm hearing realm of abundance, but honestly, and I'm picking up with this lapis lazuli, the divine domain. You are being taken to the you might be a crystalline, this crystalline earth consciousness. You're not going to drown. You're not going to drown, believe me. So jump ship and let them figure out whatever the fuck they're going to do. An individual, and so that can also have to do with culture. An individual person can learn to be aware of the as yet hidden contents of the human collective unconscious. Provided this boat, that is to say, their ego that separates them from the collective planetary psyche of mankind and the vessel through which they are moving through life, the way that they move through life, their consciousness paradigm has been given a glass bottom. The conscious mind must have become, in part at least, translucent. This translucency is so consciousness evolution, the veils being lifted, the veils being destroyed, disintegrated. The individual, because I'm seeing like a rocket ship, you're blasting off at the speed of light. And when a rocket bursts through the atmosphere, there are parts of it that fall off. They were made to fall off. But they fall off. That's what this is. It's like they're barnacles on you, babe. They're trying, if you're the boat, they're a barnacle on you. You got to scrape that off. Okay. And I'm saying these people are tricky. They're not openly hostile. They are passive aggressive. They try to silence you. They try to erase your experience. They gaslight you. They just they're the victim, basically. It's these subtle ways that they enact this silencing violence. It's very colonizer. They will ignore things that you're saying. They're ignoring your experience. They don't want to validate. They are invalidating your experience. They're invalidating your identity. They're invalidating who you are. Because they don't, especially if they have more privilege than you, because they don't want to face up to the fact that despite how much more opposition you face, how many more challenges you face than them, you're still able to move forward aggressively, claiming your stake. And they're not willing to do that. And it is a reminder of them being weak sauce, is what Spirit's like, weak sauce. Spirit's like, weak ass bitch. Like, Spirit's like, ready to snatch wigs. Oh my God, I'm channeling the spirit of my friend who passed away last year. Anyway, she's like, period. But that's not your soul family. That's not your soul family. The window of the mind remains closed, but through it, the individual can become aware of the outside. Here, outside means the psychic depths below the normal level of consciousness. At this first stage of the discovery process, one can only speak of vision, not identification. The feeling is one of wonder. I did not know this could exist. How beautiful, or how exciting. A new dimension of reality is perceived by the earnest inquirer. You're about to receive Stop playing with my chosen ones. Stop playing with the abundance, the prosperity. The feeling is one of wonder. I did not know this could exist. How beautiful, or how exciting. A new dimension of reality that these hoes cannot access. It's being revealed. It's being revealed to you, the star that gives life. You're not just the star, which indicates like a kind of iconographic star, a kind of celebrity. They are not, they are inaccessible. No, this is the star that gives life, babes. They're not getting that. They're not coming into that because they're not willing to do the work. But you're about to come into, what you're about to come into, like, because you let go, because you stopped allowing yourself to be betrayed and backstabbed, because you are no longer betraying yourself and breaking your own heart. This is what it is. You're no longer at war with yourself. You've been creating in the ethers all through Jupiter and Taurus. You've been creating, you've been doing this hard work. That's a 3-year cycle. And now it's paying off handsomely. Karma for karmics. Everybody's getting exactly what they deserve, whether it's good or bad. I love you all truly and deeply. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for fucking with me. Thank you for your support. And I just want to say, if you want to book a reading with me, I do offer distance readings, which are more accessible than sessions. I offer oracle sessions. We do healing work in those sessions. I also offer self-sovereignty coaching. It's all on my website, vdarling.xyz/the Aetherium, or you can email me or DM me, especially if you are in need. 2244 on the clock, especially if you are in need of a discount. I offer 50% off, up to 50% off for Black and Indigenous people, people of color, queer, trans people who are in need of a discount. You can access, and other marginalized identities, disabled folks, you can access up to 30% off discount, and the rates are sliding scale. You can also pay in 4 installments with Klarna through my website. So I just try to make this as accessible as possible. 1, 2, 3 on the timer. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. I am sending you so much love, so much power. I'm seeing a falcon. I'm seeing a hawk. I'm seeing an owl. And you have developed the precision, the discernment. You trust yourself. You can make it through this. I believe in you, and so does Spirit. I am sending back all of your energy, and I am calling back mine. Have a blessed rest of whatever time you're watching this.